There's just something about chasing after bonefish that keeps me up at night. Pound for pound, they're one of the strongest, hardest fighting fish, fastest fish that I've ever hooked. So it goes wrong more often than it goes right, but when it goes right, it's spectacular. I could fish them every single day and never get enough.
You know, the bonefish are just an incredible animal. They're, in the world of fishing, there's something just really special about them. They live on the flats, which is real shallow areas in the Caribbean and the tropics, and they're dispersed almost all around the world. Certain areas in the Bahamas, the Florida Keys, the Caribbean, even in Hawaii and the Pacific, that have just this specific ingredient for growing bonefish.
The cool thing about bonefish is that they're always found in awesome places. I've never been a place that I didn't like that had bonefish. I've caught them in a bunch of places, all around the Caribbean, down Central America, and now here in the Bahamas. And every one of those places has been extraordinarily beautiful. They usually are up in really skinny water. You know, oftentimes you're not even getting your knees wet when you're walking them. You look at them, when you look at them up close, when you've got one in your hand, and you can see, you know, they've got that forked tail. Any fish with a forked tail is fast. They're shaped like a torpedo. Their nose looks like the front of a fighter jet. And you know, you can't believe how fast they are when you hook one.
Let's go. Round the mark. Let's get it. We're about to get it. Get it. Ha ha. Yo, 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 yo.
That's living right there.
Bone fishing really is kind of like hunting because you have to stalk them, you have to be quiet, you have to learn their patterns when they move onto this flat or that flat. And there's a lot of similarities when you're a hunter moving over to bone fishing because you have to use your eyes, your senses. It's sight fishing.
So to fool one really takes something special. You got to land the fly right, you got to beat the wind, you got to beat the light, you got to beat their eyes, you got to beat so many things. So it goes wrong more often than it goes right, but when it goes right, it's spectacular. And pound for pound, they're one of the strongest, hardest fighting fish, fastest fish that I've ever hooked. So you go from this kind of creeping across a flat, trying not to make too big a splash, trying to land a fly close enough for them to see it, but not so close that you spook them, and strip it just right. It's all very quiet, kind of creeping along, and then you hook them and it just breaks loose. You know, fish takes off, line's going everywhere, you're trying to clear your line, try to get your fingers out of the way, and it's amazing how quick they are. One of those weird fish too that, you know, you can see them and then they just literally disappear. You can see the sides of the fish, and some of the ones we caught, their scales look like mirrors, and they literally just vaporize.
If you're a fisherman or a fly fisherman, it is on your bucket list to come after bonefish, because they are just a quarry that everybody knows about that really is just almost perfectly designed for fly fishing and pursuing with a fly on the flats.
Blue. You look at this place and there are so many colors of blue. I've seen this week more colors of blue than anything I've ever seen, any place I've ever been. I think what pulls me here is, you know, sand between your toes, the, you know, warm humid air, the sea breeze, the smell of salt, all of those things that stick with you. But people sometimes ask me, what is it about bone fishing? What is it? Why are you so far? They're not that big, you know? They're not 100 pounds, they're not 300 pounds, they're not 1,000 pounds. You don't eat them, you let them all go. What is the deal? Why are you so fired up about bonefish? And I think what it is the place where they are. The fish is spectacular, the experience is spectacular, creeping up on them is spectacular. The first run will blow your mind, you know, all of that stuff is so great. But the place, like this place right here, you can't catch bonefish in a bad place. They just don't live there. Every time you see a bonefish tailing, you're in someplace exceptional. And that, you know, the 100 shades of blue that we walked through this week, that's what draws me.